Truth is so much of a painful thing to hear that people choose to ignore it rather than hear it and deal with it. Because the truth always demands changes, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. My name is Pastor Dowell, and I'm here to give you my personal forecast for the next 4 years in this country. We've all been affected by the policies of Washington. And when I say Washington, I mean from the president to the 535, the Senate, the House of Representatives. We've watched our society decline in the last 6 years. We have watched a serious decline like never before, unprecedented. If you listen to me for any amount of time, you know I've always stated that the United States of America is following the same historical path that ancient Rome followed. And when you see all these school shootings, whether it be at colleges, high schools, elementaries, just like we just got finished seeing up here in Connecticut, what you're doing is you're looking at a shift, a paradigm shift, and a decline in society because the jobs are gone. Our government is lying to us in reference to jobs created and jobs lost. The majority of the numbers that they give us, because they're cooking the books, is coming from overseas and not here in America. The news media dare not to show you all of the places. It's like Detroit and other places all across this country where the decline is evident. California just got finished cutting 960,000 people who had at least 50 something plus weeks left on their unemployment benefits. Just cut them off totally. You don't hear that in the news media. The dollar is continually being devalued. All the countries in the world are not playing the dollar game anymore. China's not loaning us any more money. So the Federal Reserve is buying up all the debt here in America. And when the Federal Reserve, who is a private banking cartel, a private run institution, it has nothing to do with the federal government whatsoever at all. It's a private entity. And the Federal Reserve, when they're buying up the debt, they're buying up the houses, you buy up the mortgages, you buy up the lands. We're bankrupt as a country. Our natural debt, our national debt, and you can listen to me on this, they have no solutions whatsoever at all. You're going to watch our national debt continue to keep climbing. Matter of fact, it's going to actually go up another $2 or $3 trillion within the next 4 years. And of course, then they have a lot of other hidden costs and stuff that's going on. But you're also going to watch wars. We're going to continue on with this warmongering of these unwarranted wars. You're going to watch society continue to keep on declining because when people graduate school, they go to higher education, college, the students are saddled with a bunch of debt. Now we have debt-based prisons here in this country. And there's no employment around for these students any longer. All the jobs have gone overseas because corporations, which lobby and run our Congress and our House of Representatives, all of our senators and all our congressmen, including the president, they all are bought and paid for by the corporations. And they're all gone overseas. So if there's going to be any hope for anybody who is going to graduate college here in America, your best bet is to get out of this country. And if you want to work for the corporations, go overseas. With all that said, my advice is, and the way it has always been in the last 15, 20 years, is that since there's a paradigm shift and we're watching societal decline like never before, that means you need to start changing your mind the way you used to think. Because if not, you're going to find yourself going chaotically insane and not being able to cope with all the things that are going on. The school shootings, the people murdering and killing and people killing themselves, because when they have nothing to lose, they lose it. All of this is a result of a society in decline because of the policies that are made by the rich who rule the United States of America. They're not affected like the middle class and the poor are. So they're living in their sealed home and sealed houses and stuff, and they're sitting back and looking at all this. And then, the worst thing about it is that no matter what takes place, they get the poor people in this country. They get all of us to in war and in fight with each other. I think one of the best advices I could give is stay away from mainstream news media. That includes RT. Because we saw after this shooting right here how that the powers that be is using every single outlet that they can to bring forth their agenda in order to take away or try to take away the guns out of American hands. It's remarkable and amazing here in this country. You remember Columbine and all these other places where they had shootings? Americans respond totally different than the liberals in this country, as well as totally different than the president and everybody else expect for us to respond. Whenever there's something that goes on in this country, and especially if they are not secure in their person, that's why every time Obama gets elected, Americans run out and rush to the gun store and buy up all the guns they can. That's why whenever situations like this happen, people start to take personal responsibility for their own preservation, and they're not depending on government to take care of it for them. As soon as something like this happens, people go rush to gun stores, buy up all the bullets and all the guns they can, because that's the American response. We're going to continue to keep declining. When you look at the video games that are put up in front of our children, the killing, the murder that's glorified in this country, the bloodshed, it's mind-numbing the conscious. And then people's hearts are becoming so hard that death doesn't even faze them anymore. That's the way we're going. And the last thing that they want is they want the veterans out informing people of the truth of what's really truly going on. So you watch our country demonize veterans. You watch our country demonize everyone out there who believes in self-preservation. So the economy is going to continue to tank. The gas prices are going to continue to go up. The food prices are going to continue to soar. Commodities are going to continue to go up. And gold and silver is going to continue to be the hedge against all this inflation, where you can be able to preserve your dinner table and your personal wealth, because you can always take a silver coin. You can always take a silver coin and go trade it in for some of this worthless fiat currency. And I do need to say this again. Nations all across this world, across the sea and the pond, they're opting out of the dollar. And America can't fight every nation in order to preserve the dollar. You're going to continue to keep watching the wars in what they've deemed in terms of the Middle East, because there's big business in war. There's a lot of money to be had in war. Is it not remarkable and amazing how that ever since those planes hit those twin towers and that rocket hit the Pentagon, that all of a sudden we find ourselves on wars on 4 and 5 different fronts. And we call them terrorists, and nobody can actually finger who this terrorist is. And when you look at it, it looks like America's the terrorist state, because we're going around terrorizing everybody. We just have hypocrisy on an unprecedented scale. We can send drones into third world countries and kill children and call it collateral damage and never shed one tear. There's decline from the faith of the one true Yah. It's just a serious decline. People are not going to church like they used to anymore. At least there was a little bit of something that was taught in there. We're looking at a societal breakdown. This is the trend. And there's no light at the end of this tunnel for a long, very long time. Find you an acre of land, maybe 2. Find you a nice used trailer. Excuse me. While you have the time, to prepare an alternate location, do it. Help those who have your interests in mind. I mean, they think just like you do. Because you're going to find out those are the people you're going to be able to trust. Those are the people you're going to be able to bond with as things continue to keep declining. Develop a good relationship with those who get it. You know, some people, they get it. They understand, they get it. Pay attention to those who are free thinkers, who have freed their mind and they don't believe everything and they question everything. They don't believe everything that comes up in front of them. Get around people like Precious Faith. You're going to find while the whole world is going mad, you're going to be able to keep your sanity. It's just my advice. It really, truly is. And of course, if you're a believer, of course, I'm going to suggest that you listen to me because I believe I give not only sound advice, but you get advice from a pastor that you can go back and look at my archives, that I don't only preach, but I live the gospel that I preach. And the evidence of it is clearly seen. I do my part, myself and Pastor Joe Fox, who is a very, very dear pastor and friend and brother of mine. We do our best to inform, to help the people, to instruct, to give the little that we know to each and every last one of you out there. I send shout outs to him, J Snip 4, New America Now, and the whole Straightway family that are scattered all across the United States of America and the world. I send shout outs to each and every last one of you. And I thank you for knowing each and every last one of you. But if nobody else hears this message, I know you're hearing it. So let's continue to keep preparing because things are going to get worse. Every time you go to the store, always come back home with some canned good. Always come back home with some canned good because you're going to need it. My suggestion is you come out of all these churches. Come out every single one of them because you're not going to learn anything there and they're not going to have any answers. As we watch our society continue to try to drug up and dope up and vaccinate everybody. Civil liberties are eroding. So you're going to need your own homestead so you can live a quiet and peaceable life. This is my advice, and this is the trend for the next 4 years. Things are not going to get better. Don't look for no turnaround. It's actually going to get worse. Say bye-bye.